Greetings, greetings, greetings. It's me again, Abba. Yeah, I'm here to talk about marriage. Marriage as part of these life skills courses. Remember, we said about the life skills courses, they're here to help you to elevate yourself, more strategic thinking in your life, and also for you to share with others. And the next step, you feel like this is you and you're sharing it with people and you see that it's working, then you can elevate to the standard where you're part of the African Kingdoms Federation Task Force Academy. And so this African Kingdoms Federation is headed by Her Imperial Majesty Empress Sheba Deborah Kasumsura III, the Queen of Sheba, the Queen of the South, our Imperial Matriarch. The Life Skills Academy is headed by Commanding Officer, Executive Crown Minister for African Kingdom Affairs, Her Excellency Lady Marlene, sir. Yeah, these life skills, the more I go through them, the more that I try to apply them to my circumstances, is the more I see how much of like common sense they are. Like, we've been doing these things. I had a conversation with somebody who's taking on the life skills, and the person was saying, yeah, I'm looking at it. It's like common sense. We've been doing this. But then it's structured. And now it's riveted in our minds that this is what happens. This is how we do. So marriage. The statistics on marriage. There's still a lot of people getting married. But what we've noticed is that divorce is on the rise as well. And so it brings into question the things we do before marriage. How do we get into this situation where we're with someone? In certain cultures, you're with more than one person. But you get into a situation where you're with someone and it doesn't last. Sometimes it doesn't even go beyond 3 years. Some people are married for quite a time, over 10 years, and still it doesn't last. So what we find in this course is that there are things that you can do at the outset of that journey. When you're just seeing that someone and you're all starry-eyed and you're thinking, wow, God is good, man. Yeah, he brought me this person. This course says there are things that you can do to try to assess if this person that you want to journey with is the right person for you. I think compatibility is the term that they use outside of these life skills. But the reality that you want to have is that more or less you're this on the same type of level. I think one of the tests they say you can put into place is this thing called a communication lag. So basically, you're asking someone a question, and based on the speed with which they respond, you're thinking, oh, this one's not really, on par with me or whatever not. And if the person does answer quickly, does the answer make sense? So it's a test of, your mind, whether you're sane or whether you're not so bright upstairs, And I think what they're trying to drive at, as I said, is that compatibility. So after having done that test and you're satisfied that you've done your investigation and you're satisfied that, okay, yeah, I can embark on this journey, you have to remember that this journey is a journey of self-discovery, you know. So self-discovery meaning that you're going to learn about yourself, and you're going to learn about the situation that you're putting yourself into. You're going to learn about the person that you're going to journey with. So that's another life skill right there, because if you're gonna learn stuff, then that's the study of technology, and you cannot approach a learning environment with an unwillingness to learn. So these are all before you get into the actual marriage itself. There are some things that come into play, you know. So okay, marriage, it's a partnership, and it says it's an adventure that people try to chart a course in the future. They call it the word postulating. So you plan things together to say, okay, this is the way things must be. And in that light now, it's like you come and you start set rules and boundaries. It's called a moral code. Yeah. And anytime things go outside of the moral code, then what happens there is that someone commits an overt. And that's something that you do that you shouldn't do, or you didn't do that you should have done. And to make it worse, if that happens, you don't declare it. You're committing a withhold. And then that basically now leads to a breakdown in communication. Because basically, if I've done something, I'm kind of like feeling cute in myself, guilty. Um, I don't want to talk about it. And then perhaps I'm feeling a bit conscious of the fact that you have done this person wrong, and I might be able to do this person further wrong, so I'm gonna step back. I might even just call the whole thing off. And you know, for the partner who is experiencing this thing where an overt has been committed against them, there are tools that you can use from the life skills to try to gauge that. And what comes to mind is the emotional tone scale. The emotional tone scale says it measures affinity. So, okay, all right, we've set a plan, we've postulated, and we're saying, okay, boom, this is what we're going to do. But then leading up to it, conversations about it become very minimal. And then, when it's brought up, you kind of see a feeling being portrayed. It means a lack of affinity for it. And if there's a lack of affinity, then that affects understanding, because then we have the ARC triangle. If there's a lack of affinity to the reality that you've postulated, the plan that you've made, then communicating is gonna suffer. You understand? So that again shows you the interrelatedness of all of these courses. And so another aspect you can look at is that this postulation, this plan, is, you can take it from the point of view of the basics of organizing, where this plan is a finished product, and it must have its particles that you must string together, the similar ones, and then sequence to make up this final product. So some of the key particles in a marriage is, or are, good communication, honesty and integrity, ethics and conditions. So like the state that it's in, it must be way up on that scale, more towards enthusiasm and far away from apathy, far away from Now, apathy is in the emotional tone scale, far away from confusion. Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on. But remember also that the definition of marriage is a partnership. And therefore, you can look at other things that come together to form one unit. Say, for instance, a business deal. That's a marriage between the two partners, no matter how you look at it. Um, if you take the idea of going in front of some judge or a priest and saying vows and stuff like that out of it, and just know that, okay, look, I'm gonna put 50,000, you're gonna put 20, we're gonna share the profits even. You must do this, and I will bring that. You're making the moral code. You're deciding to join together. That's a marriage, basically. You know, the people and their government. That's a marriage. You know, so from that perspective, the things that break down marriages, conflicts. When conflicts arise, you're gonna need communication to get it done, get over it. You're gonna need the emotional tone scale. You're gonna need the basics, the components of understanding, to really turn it around. You know, um, if the marriage is a dangerous environment, it means like physical abuse, domestic abuse. That brings into play giving people assists. People might be hurt. You need to like apply first aid if it's physical as well, because that's trauma. You're gonna need to have give psychological assists as well. So marriage marriage brings into focus a lot of these life skills. For example, it in itself, take it as that intimate relationship. It occurs on the second dynamic level of dynamics of existence. That one with the family. So you're no longer on your own. You've joined with someone. Your parents now come into play. Your children come into play. That second level of dynamics. But also, if you take it away from that intimate relationship, it occurs on the third level of dynamic, which is the groups that you're in. So marriage is really a bedrock of civilization. Marriage brings into focus like your family as the basic unit of society, and if you preserve it, you try to get your children out of marriages, in terms of like you're gonna put your leave something for the future, reproduce yourself. You do that through marriage. But what one of the marriages that I think most people kind of not focus on is the marriage between you and your creator. And that's inseparable. you know whether it ends in joy or sadness, whether heaven or hell. That's a marriage that you will never ever get out of. But on a lower scale, your spirit coming into this body, that's a marriage. That is a time limit. It comes eventually. But there are things that you can do to prolong the length, and there's things that you do that shortens your thing. Yeah, it shortens your lifespan. Like okay, your mind tells you that you should drink some beer because it makes you feel good. Repeatedly drinking the beer, you're putting yourself in a dangerous environment. It's gonna lessen your lifespan. So I encourage you to look at these courses at the volunteerministers.org and get involved. Learn them, see how they apply to your life, and take it a step further. When that humanitarian comes out in you, yeah, join up with the African Kingdoms Federation. The Queen of Sheba has a thing called the Project 7 Phoenix Agenda that says it wants to simultaneously develop all of Africa. and by extension the whole world, alleviate poverty. And that's that's a humanitarian effort. And being part of the African Life Skills African Kingdoms Federation Task Force Academy, or just Task Force, it gives you an opportunity to exercise that desire to see humanity heal, to bring together all the different elements of humanity and work and function as one human family. Yeah, these are the things that come out of it. So, all right, then I'm come to the end. It's just like a little bite size as normal. You know it go. Abba. Um, I'm here in the UK and I'm looking out for people like you, as also anywhere around the world. You feel like this sounds good to you, there is a chapter of the African Kingdoms Federation that you can get in touch with. There's an ambassador there waiting to welcome you and put you through your training process and get you on the path of self actualizing, bringing out the humanitarian in you. Yeah? Um, See you again next time when I do another bite size as well. Remember, this one was about marriage, and the greatest marriage there is between you and your creator. Don't step out of line. He will look after you, and your thing will go further. See you again next time. Blessed love.